Well. Here we are while I go down the process of going through all of my commander decks and making deck profiles of each one just for your entertainment. Today, we are revisiting quite possibly my most I want to say uh at my table the most. I don't even want to say it. It's very disliked. I can't really bring this out at most tables because it's just too overpowered. There's a lot of money into this deck too. I'm just saying. So if you saw the title of it, that is absolutely correct. We're doing the SpongeBob deck. SpongeBob is a reskin of Joda the Unifier. Legendary creatures you control get XX, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control, and when you cast a legendary spell, you get to exile cards from the top of your deck until you exile a non-land card with a lesser mana value. Then you may cast that card without paying its summoning costs and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, which is basically a fancy way of saying you play something legendary, you get a legendary cascade, which is fun. I love this card. But yeah, it gets targeted easily because that XX is really it's really a lot. A lot of people can't deal with it. We're gonna start off with the creatures. It's gonna be a legendary artifact creature, but it's gonna be Tiny Tyrant because Skrelv Defector Might is one of the best cards of all time, and is the only one drop in this deck, which is for a reason. Because SpongeBob allows you to cascade rounded down by one. You usually have two choices. You go, you have to go into something one lower than what you just played. So he's my only one for a reason, because if I want to cascade into him, I want to cascade into him. Then the next card that's cascadable and my only two drop is Fabelthip, the Lost. Now, because I'm going to be trying to play this from the deck, um, Fabelthep enters the battlefield, draw a card. If it entered from anywhere other, if it was, if it entered from your library, it was cast from anywhere other than your library. I mean, other than your, if it was cast from your library, draw two cards instead. Sorry, I'm having a hard time Englishing right now. And when it becomes the target of an ability, shuffle it into the deck. You target it with your own shit, and then you shuffle it into your deck, and you just constantly loop out Fabelthip, and you constantly keep drawing two cards off of Fabelthip. It's awesome. Now, time for the threes. We got Symbiote Spider Man, one of the newest additions. Whenever this creature deals combat damage, look at that many cards from the top of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest of it to your graveyard. Then find new host while it's in the graveyard. You pay its summon cost and exile this card from the graveyard, put a 1/1 counter, and it gains this card's abilities. So it's kind of like passing the symbiote on. It's nice. Plus, I got a Spider Man in this deck, which I might have a couple more of. Now it's time for Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier, because I wanted all four Sephiroths in this deck, and I established that. Whenever he enters or attack, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, opponent loses one life and you gain one life. If this is the fourth time this ability has happened this turn, transform Sephiroth. And I will transform Sephiroth just this once. Sephiroth, One Winged Angel, is a 5/5 with flying. It's got Supernova at the beginning. No, as this creature transforms into Sephiroth, One Winged Angel, you get an emblem that says whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses one life and you gain one life. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice a number of creatures. If you do, draw that many cards. It's just for flavor. Plus, like, death triggers sometimes happens in this deck. There are a bunch of token gens. Thalia Heretic Cather, first strike. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponent controls enter tapped. It's a 3/2 and a 3-drop. Reki, the history of the Kamigawa. Whenever you play a legendary spell, draw a card. Excellent. Bergi, God of Storytelling. Whenever you cast a spell, add red at the end of the turn. Until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. Squidward Sarcastic Snob, also known as Grazalak, Iliad Scholar. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to the owner's hand. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to someone, draw a card. And it's a 3/2. Glenn, the voice of calm. It's got Skulk. So creatures can't be blocked. This creature can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. And whenever Glenn deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to his power. So, fun fact, because of SpongeBob here, you could pump him up and draw a shit ton of cards off of Glenn. Glenn is huge in this deck. One of the best cards in this deck, in my opinion. Satoru Umezawa, because he allows you to cheat stuff out of your hand. Whenever you activate a ninjutsu ability, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This ability triggers only once each turn. Each time, each creature in your hand has ninjutsu for 2 and a Demir, which is huge. You could cheat out your 10 drops, you could cheat out your 7 drops, you could cheat out anything with this ability. Plus, you get the ninjutsu ability trigger off of Satoru. Xenia Valley's Voice for the Mpreg combo, because this gives everything you have Offspring, which the ability to pay an additional 2 and create another as you cast a creature spell, and if you do, that token that enters, create a copy of it. Yep. When that creature enters, create a token copy of it. Wow, my dyslexia went hard there. I am sorry. Mr. House President and CEO. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher, create a 3/3 robot token. If you rolled a 6 or higher, Instead, create a treasure token, that token and a treasure token. And 4, roll a 6-sided die and plus an additional 6-sided die for each treasure spent to activate this ability. Which this deck creates a shit ton of treasures. Which I could roll a bunch of dice with this card. It's insane. That's why I have it in this deck. Now, Starscream, Power Hungry, more meets the eye. It could be transformed too. It's got flying. Whenever you draw a card, if you're the Monarch, target opponent loses 2 life. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage, whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, transform Starscream. This is going to be a long one. You're in for the long haul here. Now, Starscream, Seeker, Leader, Living Metal. As long as it's your turn, this vehicle is also a creature. It's got Flying, Menace, and Haste, so it can attack right away. Whenever Starscream deals combat damage to a player, if there is no Monarch, I become the Monarch. Whenever you become the Monarch, convert Starscream, which is huge. So what I usually do is I play it for its more than meets the eye cost, so I could just become the Monarch and transform Starscream. Easy way to play. This one pisses everybody off, because it's a 0/17. Mr. Krabs Penny Pincher, also known as Cherix, the Raging Isle. Spells your opponents cast that target Mr. Krabs cost 2 more to cast, and 3, you get to give Mr. Krabs plus X minus X until the end of the turn, where X is the number of islands you control. You will never be activating that ability. He is just here to be a giant ass for your opponents to get over. And fun fact, it can get Mr. Krabs could get blasphemous acted and live from it. Knuckles the Echidna, the bane of some people. A lot of people dislike this card. It's got double strike, trample, and haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 30 or more artifacts, you win the game. 2, 4, and a 4-drop. It's insane. Superior Spider-Man. Told you there was another Spider-Man. You may have Superior Spider-Man enter as a copy of any creature card in your graveyard. Its name is Superior Spider-Man, and he is a 4/4 Spider-Human hero in addition to the other types. And when you do, exile that card, which is insane. Copying any of these creatures while they're in the graveyard is insane. Genova Ancient Calamity, just for funsies. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to Genova's power up to one target creature. That creature becomes a mutant in addition to its other types. Whenever a mutant you control dies during your turn, you draw cards equal to its power. Huge. Prosper Tomebound, because at the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of your library until the end of your turn. Your next turn, you may play that card. And whenever you play a card from exile, create a creature token. It's also got Death Touch, and it's a 1/4, so nobody wants to touch it if it were to attack. You don't really attack with Prosper anyways. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's got haste. Whenever Shadow the Hedgehog or another creature you control with flash or haste dies, draw a card. Each spell you control has split second if it was casted with an artifact. Chaos Control. It's 4/2, and it's 2 black, 2 red. Fun fact, there's so many treasure token generators in this deck. It's beyond insane. And we're not even halfway through the deck right now. Now it's time for the next card, Deadpool Trading Card. Because Deadpool Trading Card. Uh, as Deadpool enters, you may exchange his text box with another creature's at the beginning of your upkeep. You lose 3 life, sacrifice creature, each other player draws a card. Draw me like one of your friend's cards. It's a 5/3, and it's 2 and Arachdos, mutant mercenary hero. Really great card. I'm not sure if you could tell this, but this really reamed my wallet. Chainer Nightmare Adept. Discard a card. You may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Activate this ability only once per turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until your next turn. So this is really good if you really want to get some stuff out. Now the other hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. Haste, gotta go fast whenever Sonic the Hedgehog attacks. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control that has flash or haste. Whenever a creature you control with flash or haste is dealt damage, create a tapped treasure token. And it's 2/4. Joda Archmage Eternal. Flying, you may pay a Wooburg rather than pay the mana cost for spells you cast. It's a 4/3. It's a human wizard. Ishtola Knight's Blessed. At the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 more life this turn, draw a card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Ishtola deals 2 damage to your opponent, and you gain 2 life. Which you're going to be doing that a lot in this deck. So many 4s. Soundwave, Sonic Spy, More Meets the Eye. Whenever one or more creature tokens you control deal combat damage to a player, exile target instant sorcery card with mana and are equal to the damage dealt from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast a copy of it without paying its mana cost, and if you do, convert Soundwave. You're gonna want to play this converted from the start because it comes out as the legendary artifact Soundwave Superior Captain. Whenever you cast a spell with an odd mana value, convert Soundwave, and if you do, create Ravage, a legendary 3/3 black robot artifact token with Menace and Death Touch. Whenever you cast a spell with an even mana value, you create Laserbeak, a 2/2 robot artifact creature token with flying and hexproof. Ain't that neat? People ask me to explain exactly what these cards do, so I'm just gonna read them for you all. The Master Transcendent flavor, because this is a multiverse deck. This has literally everything in it. Yep. When the Master Transcendent enters, target player gets 2 rad counters. Put target creature card in a graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control. If it's green, no, it's a green mutant with base power of 3/3. It loses its other colors and creature types. which is cool because you still get ETBs and such. Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's got Trample. Lethal damage to creatures you control is determined by their power rather than their toughness. And it's a 7/3. Plus, you got Godzilla in this deck too. Why not? I've already shown you so many things in this deck that like are people really shit on Universes Beyond, but I can do this. Sephiroth, Fallen Hero. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may put a cell counter on target creature until end of turn. Each modified creature you control has a base power and toughness of 7/5. Equipments, auras you control, and counters count as modifications. Plus, you could pay 3, sacrifice a modded creature, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Insane. The 10th Doctor. It's 3/5 with Alon Z. Whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Put 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gain suspend. And you can pay 7 to time travel 3 times, activate only as a sorcery. So that means you could just, whenever you attack, you could pay 7 to get the card you just you can play the card you just suspended. Karazakar, the Eye Tyrant. Whenever you attack a player, target creature that player controls and goad it. Whenever creature opponent attacks another one of your opponents, you and the attacking player draw a card and lose 1 life. And it's a 5/5. The Lord of Pain. Your opponents can't gain life. Menace. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, the Lord of Pain deals. Choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. Fuck, my English is gone today. Dr. Eggman. It's a 2 and a Grixis. Flying at the beginning of each of your end steps, draw a card. Then each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player discards a card, or you may put a construct, robot, vehicle from your hand onto the battlefield, and it's a 3/6. It's insane because there's a lot of robots in this deck, and yeah. Negan, Cold Blooded, Human Rogue. When Negan enters the battlefield, you and target opponent each secretly choose a creature that player controls. Then the choices are revealed. Then that player sacrifices those creatures. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, you may create a treasure token. Excellent. It's a 4/3. I love Secret Layers so much. Infinite Guideline Station. It's got flying. Whenever it attacks, draw a card for each multicolored permanent you control. It stations for 12. And when you play it, you create a 2/2 robot artifact creature token for each multicolored permanent you control. It's a really good card. Ramos Dragon Engine, one of the bullshit 3 in this deck. What I mean by the bullshit 3 is, that Joda you saw earlier that makes everything like Wooburg to cast, Ramos the Dragon Engine, and fucking Morphon the Boundless, who's coming up. But what this one does is it's got flying whenever you cast a spell. Put a 1/1 counter on Ramos, the Dragon Engine, for each of that spell's color. Then remove 5/1/1 counters from Ramos and add 2 of each color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only once each turn, which is absolutely insane. Ghoul Garth One Eye. Wow, I was supposed to play him out. I was supposed to put that down after Infinite Guideline Station. Uh, Choose a card that hasn't been chosen amongst Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terra Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, or Black Lotus, and create a copy of that card with the card with the chosen name, and you may cast it. And it's a 5/5. Just casually create Black Lotus. Xanathar Guild Kingpin. It's a legendary creature with Beholder. At the beginning of each of your upkeeps, choose target opponent until end of turn. That player can't cast spells. You may look at the top of their library at any time, and you may play the top card of their library. And you may spend mana, or mana of a color, to cast spells this way. Insane. This is a board wipe. Okay, Sephiroth Plants Air, aka Massacre Worm. It's got Vidge. Uh, Whenever Sephiroth enters, creatures your opponents control gain -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on Sephiroth. It's a 4/4. This is insane. Ghoul Megatron, another robot, more than meets the eye. Your opponents can't cast spells during combat. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may convert Megatron. If you do, add one colorless for each one life your opponents have lost this turn. Megatron, Destructive Force. It's got a living metal. Whenever Megatron attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact. When you do, Megatron deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to target creature. If excess damage will be dealt to the creature this turn, instead damage would be dealt to that creature's controller, and you convert Megatron. Phew. Pulling him out ahead of time already. Optimus Prime, Hero. Warren meets the eye. To an Jeskai. At the beginning of each end step, bolster 1. Choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control and put a 1/1 counter on it. And whenever Optimus dies, return to the battlefield converted under your control. Living Metal. As long as this is your turn, this vehicle is also a creature. Trample. Whenever you attack, bolster 2. Then the chosen creature gains trample until end of turn. When that creature deals combat damage to the player this turn, convert Optimus Prime. So if you're lucky enough, you could essentially make Optimus Prime immortal. Just gotta keep attacking. Now there's no more transforming cards. Thank Christ. Cocoon Fal'Cie, Orphan, also known as Muldrotha the Gravetide. During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a permanent spell of each permanent type from your graveyard. It's a 6/6. It's beautiful. Like that artwork, mwah. Like it's one of the bullshit three. Changeling. Discards every creature type as Morphon. The Boundless enters. Choose a creature type. Spells of the chosen type you cast cost Wooburg less. This effect reduces the amount of colored mana you pay. Other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. So, I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but there's a lot of humans in this deck. So, you're gonna make, and Joda's a human. Just makes sense. Everything else, you can make a human with Maskwood Nexus in this deck. Lifelink. Put for each for each black mana and a cost, pay 2 life rather than pay that cost. Whenever you cast a black spell, put 1/1 counter on Emmett Selch. You could pay 3 life and 4 colorless mana to play Emmett Selch Ascian, which is correct, son of Yawgmoth. Tishana, Voice of Thunder, legendary creature, Merfolk Shaman. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size. When Tishana enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control. Yeah, it's broken. It's rough. Sephiroth the Savior. The fourth Sephiroth, which is attracts a Grand Unifier. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Angel. Flying Vidge. It's got Death Touch, Lifelink. When Sephiroth enters, reveal the top 10 cards of your library for each card type. You may put a card of that type among the revealed cards in your hand and put the rest on the bottom in any order. That's amazing. Sauron, Lord of the Rings, because why not have Sauron in this deck too? Um, Whenever you cast this, amass Orcs 5, mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Instant Reanimator. Uh, Trample, whenever a commander an opponent controls dies, the ring tempts you. It's a 9/9. Holy fuck. Um, Kozilek the Great Distortion. Whenever you cast this spell, if you have fewer than 7 cards in your hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Menace, discard a card with mana value X, where uh, and counter target spell with mana value X. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Whenever you cast Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, exile 2 permanents. It's indestructible, and whenever it attacks, defending player exiles top 20 cards of their library. It's a 10/10 for 10 mana. It's aggressive. Um, Tameo, Field Researcher. Put up to 2 target creature. Choose up to 2 target creatures until the end of next turn. Whenever either of those creatures deal combat damage, you draw a card. Um, Tap up to 2 target permanents. They don't get untap during their controller's next unstep. untap step. -7, draw 3 cards. You gain an emblem that says you may cast spells without paying their mana costs, which is huge in this deck. And this is the only planeswalker. Ha ha ha. Because of literally that reason. We got Vandal Blast. Destroy target artifact you don't control. Overload. You could kill 4. Hour of Promise. Search your library up to 2 land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped. Shuffle your library. Then, if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2 black zombie tokens. They're never going to be that. Now for the last sorcery, Blasphemous Act. Because, yeah, a lot of my removal comes from my creatures. And, yeah, Blast Act. Now for the instance, Saw in Half. Because Saw in Half is really neat in this deck. It is. Destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, opponent, its controller creates 2 tokens that are that creature that are half of that creature's power and toughness, rounded up. Now, Deadly Rollick. If you control your commander, you may cast a spell for free. Exile target creature. Now, time for the arties, the artifacts. We got Chaos Emerald. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color, which is a lotus petal. We got Sol Ring, which you tap for 2 mana. It's Sol Ring. Springleaf Drum. Tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Arcane Signet. Add 1 mana of a color in your commander's color identity. Haystack. Allows you to phase something out. Commander's Spear. Basically, a mana rock. Chromatic Lantern. Lands you control have add 1 mana of any color. Add 1 mana of any color. Darksteel Ingot, the indestructible mana rock. Mirror Box, because if you're gonna offspring stuff, you don't want it to die to the legend rule, and this erases the legend rule. And each legendary creature you control gets 1/1, and each non-token legendary creature you control gains 1/1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. Treasure Chest. Trapped, you lose 3 life. 3/9. Create 5 treasure tokens. You gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. You search your library for a card. If it's an artifact card, you may put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put the card in your hand and shuffle. Ain't that neat? Plus, like, the treasure tokens. You kind of want the treasure tokens. Maskwood Nexus. Creatures you control are every creature type. That goes true for creature spells you control and creature spells you own that aren't on the battlefield. So it makes everything in your hand a human. Grimoire of the Dead. Discard a card. Put a study counter on Grimoire of the Dead. Remove 3 study counters from Grimoire of the Dead. Sacrifice it. Return all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. They're black zombies in addition to other colors and types. playgroups really hate Grimoire of the Dead. Um, the Fire Crystal, red spells you control cast one less to cast. Creatures you control have haste, and create a token that's a copy of target creature and sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah. Now time for the enchantments. Reflection of Lich Yara. You're gonna want to say human. And yeah. ETBs, bro. ETBs. Parallel lives. If an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead. So, treasure chest, if I get the create 5 treasure tokens, this would create 10 treasure tokens. Now, time for the tail part of this, the lands. Opulent Palace enters tapped, black, green, or blue. Blue, red, or white. Mystic Monastery, Frontier Biovac, green, blue, or red. Sacred Foundry, the only pain land I have, enters. I pay 2 tapped unless I pay 2 life. Lava Claw reaches. For 1 in Arachnos, it becomes a black and 2/2 black red elemental creature with this creature gains plus X plus 0 till end of turn if it's still a land. This is another man land, Wandering Fumarole. This land has enters tapped. Is it 2 and an is it until end of turn? This land becomes a 1/4 blue red elemental creature with 0. Switch this creature's power and toughness until end of turn if it's still a land. Creeping Tar Pit. Until end of turn, this land becomes a 2/3/2 blue and black elemental creature. If it's still a land, it can't be blocked this turn. Hissing Quagmire. Black or a green. Until end of turn, this land becomes a 2/2 black and green elemental creature with death touch. It's still a land. Shambling Vent enters tapped, white or black. Until end of turn, this land becomes a 2/3 white and black elemental creature token with lifelink, and it's still a land. Stirring Wildwood, green or a white. Until end of turn, this becomes a 3/4 green or white elemental creature with reach, and it's still a land. Until Raging Ravine enters tapped, red or green. It has 2 in red or green. Until end of turn, this land becomes a 3/3 red and green elemental creature token with whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it, and it's still a land. And it keeps that 1/1 counter. This land enters tapped Celestial Colonnade. Add a white or a blue. Until end of turn, this land becomes a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature with flying and Vig. It's still a land. Now, we got one of each. Basic land. Now, time for the utility lands. We got Clive's Hideaway, which has Highway 4. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile one of them face down, put the rest in the bottom in any order. Add 1 colorless. 2, you may play the exile card without paying its mana cost if you control 4 or more legendary creatures. Rogue's Passage adds 1 to your mana pool. 4, target creature is unblockable this turn. Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Each player draws a card, then discards a card. Add a colorless if you wish. Add a colorless if you wish. Red and green. Target creature gains +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. Skarg the Rage Pits. Evolving Wilds. Because it's Evolving Wilds, it allows you to search for a basic land. And same with Terramorphic Expanse. Command Tower. Because I got the super duper special command tower that goes with SpongeBob. I got Exotic Orchard because Exotic Orchard's a staple at this point in time. Command Bridge enters tapped, and you sacrifice it unless you tap a permanent you control while you play it. Which it's okay. It's okay. It's just there to look pretty, to be honest. Unlike this one, Starting Town. Add a colorless or pay 1, add 1 color of add 1 mana of any color. It enters tapped unless it's the first, second, or third turn of the game. Multiversal Passage. As this land enters, choose a basic land type. Then you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. This land is that chosen type. Then there's Meteor Crater, which is a land that choose a color of a permanent you control, add 1 mana of that color. Sunken Citadel. This land enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color, add 1 mana of the chosen color, or add 2 mana of the chosen color. Spend the ability to activate the abilities of land sources. So this is to get your man lands off. Then the last 2 lands, Crystal Quarry. Add a colorless or pay 5 and tap this for Wooburg. Then this one, Indestructible Land, Cascading Cataracts. Indestructible, add a colorless or 5 and tap this, add 5 mana in any combination of colors. So this was the SpongeBob SquarePants Multiversal Madness Magic the Gathering deck that reamed my wallet this year. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to drink your water. And on behalf of the Fellowship of the Thirsty Bird, hope you've been keeping hydrated.